Good afternoon, councillors. My name is Andrew Paull and this is Cecilia Gason, and we live at 87 Lothian Street, which you can see above us is directly across from the proposed development site. We've come here today because we love our neighbourhood, and although we're in favour of setting up environmentally friendly apartments in the area, there are a number of aspects of the proposed development that we're concerned about. In particular, we're going to talk about the scale and the form of the proposal, which we feel is not in keeping with the neighbouring buildings or the streetscape generally. So here we have some photos of the site as it is currently at the top of the screen compared to some drawings of the proposed development at the bottom. As you can see, there is already something of a height differential between the warehouse site and the neighbouring houses, and this is not uncommon to the area, where warehouses are frequently cheek by jowl with single-storey homes. However, the development that is now being proposed would drastically increase this height differential by doubling the height of the building at this site, with effectively no transition from the single-storey homes. In my submission, this would result in a built form that is strikingly disproportionate to the neighbouring buildings and the streetscape generally. In August last year, VCAT ruled on a proposed development of a similar scale, actually somewhat smaller to this proposal, directly across the road. In that case, Member Naylor refused to grant the permit in large part because the scale of the building would not have been consistent with the existing streetscape and would not be respectful to the adjoining single-storey house. The decision also described the proposed setbacks on the southern wall, which in that case were more substantial than is being suggested here, as tokenistic. Next, as you probably know, the maximum building height for this site is 14 metres, which height is to be measured from the centre of the site frontage to the highest point of the building. The term site frontage is defined in the planning scheme, and importantly, that definition provides that where a lot abuts two or more roads, the frontage is the single one to which the proposed building faces. That is contrary to the approach that has been taken in the officer's report to this committee. Here you can see the proposed development from a side-on perspective, with the front of the building to the left and the rear to the right. You can also see that the ground of the site slopes upward from front to rear. What this means is that if you treat the site as having two frontages and you only apply the 14-metre height limit up to the centre of the building, you can have a higher development of the rear of the building than would normally be permitted. Not only is this approach contrary to the wording in the planning scheme, it's different to the way that maximum building heights have been measured for all other permit applications in the area. It's also interesting that the officer's report to this committee describes this approach to measuring maximum height as arguable. In my submission, that is not a particularly strong recommendation, and it ought not be enough to satisfy this committee that the permit should issue.